Joining us now, such a pleasure to welcome back one of the greats, Emmy-winning actor, the wonderful Henry Winkler. So good to see you. So good to see you, sir.
Good morning, Ross. We've been doing this for quite a while.
We have been doing that, and I'll tell you one of the first times as we get into the interview, we've got two things going now. You got a new book out.
Yes.
And you've got an amazing, the new book is your latest. It's Alien Superstar number 123, number three. Hollywood versus the Galaxy.
Yes.
With Lynn Oliver. And you've got an incredible auction, which you will explain to us.
Holy cow, that is an amazing thing. Okay.
We'll get to that. And that will bring up some of the things of how long we've been doing this.
Okay.
Let us first go with the book. This is the third edition, but it's how many books with Lynn?
This is 37.
37.
37. And I have to say, without any shame, what a wonderful stocking filler. But we write comedies. We want to be the book that children choose for their entertainment and not an assignment. And it's very funny. An alien comes to America and lands on the back lot of Universal Studios. Now, who's going to talk about a rocket ship on the back lot of a movie studio? And I don't know how this happens, but he gets a job on a television show as an alien because he's already got the costume.
Is this Buddy?
This is Buddy Burger.
Buddy Burger.
When he steps out of the rocket ship, somebody says, there are strollers who wear costumes of characters. You take pictures with them on the back lot at the tour of Universal. And one of the characters says, "Hey, Buddy, what is your name?" He goes, "I don't know." "Come on, Buddy, tell me your name." He goes, "That's it, Buddy." Then he looks around and he sees a hamburger stand for $4.95. And he goes, "Burger, Buddy Burger. I have a middle initial, C for cheese."
And children really have taken to the series.
Yes.
And how did you come up with? How'd you guys come up with this one?
Do you know what? We sit around and shoot a lot of. There's also, let me just say, this is important. It's heavily illustrated. It's like a graphic novel. And I'm just saying, for those kids that are reluctant readers, the graphics are like little islands. You read and then you get to stop at a wonderful rendition of the character or what's happening in the book, and they get to rest for a minute.
And this is number 3. There may be many more to come in this series. The first time I interviewed you for a book, and I remember it so very well, was Hank Zipser.
Hank Zipser, the story of my life as a dyslexic, funny, good. He has good friends who don't judge him. And we have written 18 of these.
That's why there's more to come. Yeah.
Yeah, this is the first cover of I Got a D in Salami.
How do you guys come up with let's hone back on Alien Superstar number 3. How did you guys come up with the idea, knowing children would click on to this?
Okay, so we have traveled all over the world promoting our books in classrooms, talking to the children, and they love space. They love Hollywood. What is it like to ride in a limousine? What is it like to be on a soundstage? What is it like to be in a magazine? And so Lynn, being a producer of 300 hours of television and have written so many books, I have been on a television show or two. We thought, all right, why don't we combine the two? What we also do is, I just figured this out, of all 37 books, the children in our books are always the ones who are looking through the window saying, I'd like to be in there. I don't know how to get in there. And we show them that no matter what your challenge is, it doesn't stop you from living your dream, from having that experience you think you can't have.
And is a part of you still that kid?
Yes, not so much anymore. You know, I'm 76. I am grateful that I am on fire, having the best time professionally. We just had a brand new grandbaby girl.
Congratulations.
Frankie. Oh my God, she's 7 weeks old. That makes 6.
Oh my.
But yes, I still have the residue of that insecurity because of my learning challenges. Yeah.
And that really helps. And it helps that child, because if you're thinking like a child, that child is, I think, and that's why you have a lot of Hank Zipsers. And I'm guessing you want to do more of these as well. Yeah,
absolutely. Well, I think Alien Superstar, we had a trilogy. We completed that. We'll move on. But what I'll tell you what we don't do, we don't talk down to the child. It's easy for me to remember what it was like being 11 and failing and thinking, I'm preparing. I'm doing everything I'm supposed to do. Why is my mind not working? Why am I having trouble connecting?
And you once told me that your folks gave up on you because of the dyslexia. They were saying, yeah, well, he's not a bright guy, until you figured out that it was dyslexia. And
right.
then they realized this is what you, I think it was when you were going to Yale.
To the drama school. I said, you know, they used to call me dumb dog. But what it did was completely inform me about being a parent, about listening, about seeing who's in front of me, that every child is different and they are not who I want them to be. They are who they are. And I have to help them meet that destiny. I mean, I don't mean to be,
yeah, it's great,
but that's what that is what it helped me be a parent.
Lots of things going on in your life. I would be remiss if I did not speak of the gentleman behind you on that. Is it a pillow? Is it a
Fouch on the couch?
Fauci on the couchy without the ouchie.
And let me just say that he has been with me now since March of 2019.
Really?
Yes, he has been there. I have great respect for him.
As do I. And I just very quickly want to ask you, he gets beat up in the press by certain groups, whatever. What is it about this man? And I go back to the show out of Washington. He was legendary back when. And what is it that you see in him that makes him the person?
I see, first of all, at his age, I only hope I am as clear a communicator as he is. So that's number one. Number two, I'm old enough to have watched him lead us through all these other major medical crises. He is unflappable. Mm-hmm. I don't know what happens when he gets home. He takes off his tie and sinks into a chair and must be so sad that so many people attack him. But out in the world, he is, I think, his entire reason is to make sure that we and probably the world are healthy.
Let me ask you, how has COVID, and we're now going into this new variant, how has COVID affected you and your family on the personal side and on the business side?
We just finished. First, I'll start on the business side. We just finished our 3rd season of Barry, which will be on next year.
On HBO.
On HBO. Unbelievable season. But the protocols, I was tested every day. Every crew member was tested every day. They all wore masks all day long. I wore a mask until I did a scene. I took it off. There was a young lady with a baggie. Mm-hmm. I put it in the baggie. The scene is over. I took it out of the baggie. Craft service, where all of the snacks are. Every one of them wrapped individually. Nothing, you can't graze anymore like you used to be able to.
It's all changed.
Now, personally, it got this past January, it started to hit me. And I started, we were finishing Alien Superstar #3, Hollywood versus the Galaxy. And my brain stopped. And I said to Lynn, I can't write. I'm so sorry. I don't have the desire. I don't have the imagination. I don't have the get up and go. I'm stuck. And then starting in the end of February, we cranked up again, and here it is. And I have to tell you, this was a very hard book to give to the world.
Here's the question. What got you out of that funk? What got
I don't know. I don't know. I just gave myself time. I didn't try to fight it. I had the luxury of, Lynn was very worried about, we have a date to deliver the book. I said, we have been late, but we have never missed the publication date. We will get this done. But I'm done. I can't do it.
Did you exercise? Did you meditate? Did you do anything?
No. I had pot roast.
Yeah, you had comfort food.
I did.
It's what you did.
And now a great thing. During the pandemic, our grandchildren were in pods of friends. The parents and the kids were really safe and thoughtful about it. And they would meet on Tuesday. Our granddaughters would meet and do dance on the front lawn. On Thursday, our grandsons would have like a sports camp with 6 or 7 other friends. And to hear the squealing and the laughing, I looked forward to that like it was lifeblood.
That may be a big part of what got you out of the funk.
Yeah.
That is.
Then I look around. I went through. I found I'm a hoarder.
Hello. Oh, we're getting to Henry Winkler, which brings us to, I share that, which brings us to Happy Days at Bonham's, which is the stuff you've hoarded that you're going to get rid of.
27 boxes.
Oh.
And I had no idea what was in those boxes.
Okay, this is all memorabilia of Henry Winkler.
Right.
Stuff from the Fonz. Stuff
the
from
Water Boy, Night Shift, Heroes, the Scream. I pulled out 2 Scream masks from the set of Scream. The one that I cut when I was talking to the students as the principal. I said to the prop man, what are you going to do with those? He said, throw them away. I said, I'll take them.
That's what I do.
And now they're in the auction on December 8th.
Now, real quickly, did your wife ever say, Henry, you're hoarding? You got to get rid of this stuff?
No, but I realized it myself because I was smart enough to keep these boxes out of sight.
Still in all.
Oh my God. So I had things of 40 years, 30 years, 20 years. I had not even remembered I had.
We're going to get to the auction now. How painful was it for you to say, I'm letting go? What was this like?
Okay. Unbelievable. No pain. I thought, I have had it for all these years. It didn't call me for all these years. I loved looking at it when I pulled it out of the box. I thought, oh, remember when? Oh, But then I thought, maybe it's time to just give it to the universe. I'll tell you what I do love. I have about 200 T-shirts from productions I acted in, produced, directed, talk shows I was on. Some were successful, some failures. Some T-shirts are unavailable. And there they are. A jacket from my Broadway play with John Ritter, dinner party, robes from Oprah, from doing the Oprah show, and all of these incredible items that it is a pleasure to share.
Now it is. Was there a switch that went on because you wanted to keep it? And
Only when well, you know what? When I found it, it was easy. When I kept it, I thought, oh, this is going to be important. Now, certainly I have kept certain items. There was a board of plywood right outside the door to Arnold's, and we would put our coffee cups on it as we walked through Arnold's and did the scene, or a water bottle or whatever it was. And I wrote on this board, Ron Howard just had a baby girl in March 1980. We just had a baby girl, September 1980. Oh, they're both redheads. We're starting the 7th season now. I'm doing this scene. I don't like it much. And I filled the board over all the 10 years, just writing. I kept that board. I took that board on the last shot of Happy Days.
like a journal on a board.
Yes.
And this is going to the auction too?
No,
Okay.
I'm keeping.
So there are certain things.
Yeah, but Fonzie's jacket, my boots. Now the
overalls,
boots, the overalls that I wore in the garage, didn't even know I had them. I pulled them out and went, oh my gosh, look at this.
And once you made your decision, there was never a moment where you said, okay, look at this. Oh, I got to take that back.
No, I'll tell you what. Before they came to pick it up at the house, my children went through it and picked stuff that they wanted. You know, like Max, our director, our youngest son, wanted the Dodger jacket from the 70s when Rod Carew was playing. When we went to the Angels Stadium, because Gary Marshall had us playing softball at every major stadium in the country. I have a Giants jacket from San Francisco from the 70s.
And all of this now, and by the way, the first time you won't remember this, but I certainly do, was in New York. First time I met you and interviewed you. This was on the television side when I was out of Washington. I went up to New York. It was for Night Shift.
My tweed jacket from Night Shift is in the auction. So Chuck Lemley's jacket.
Tell us how this auction is going to work.
You know, what I found out is that it's on the 8th. It's at 1:00 here on the West Coast time.
December 8th, 1:00 at
Bonham's. But most of it, I think, will be online and on the phone. That not a lot of people show up because of COVID in the room. And I will go in the beginning, and I will be there. Or maybe it's 1:00 Eastern time, because I'm going to be there. No, 1:00 in the West, 1:00 Pacific time. And I will talk to everybody and thank them for being there. And then there will be an auctioneer who will bring up each lot.
1:00 Pacific time, 4 in the East.
Yeah.
So, and if people want to,
you know what, I'll tell you, Ross, I swear to God, my wife has always said this to me. When we threw a party, she goes, oh my gosh, what happens if nobody comes? I have all this food. What happens if nobody shows up to the party? I honest to God, that's the way I feel.
Were you worried about it?
What happens if nobody comes? All those 27 boxes are coming back into my house.
Which, by the way, because you mentioned the internet part of this, the web part of this.
Yeah.
If people wanted to jump online, where do they go?
All right. Bonham, Bonhams.
Mm-hmm.
They're right on Sunset Boulevard. And they have a website, and you can find the auction. You can also find the catalog for everything that's in my auction.
You bring to mind, I'm involved in a documentary on fans of the Beatles. And by the way, you're a Beatles fan. You were for years.
Do you know what? It took me a while. When the Beatles first started, I was a freshman at Emerson College. And I heard, "I want to hold your hand," on my little transistor radio on my faux wood desk in my dormitory in Boston. And I kept thinking, they're playing this song a lot. And I didn't get it. And then as they evolved, I evolved with them and understood that I am now loving their music, touched by their music.
And that's why we're doing it on the fans. The fans are loyal. I'm getting to your fans. And the fans, so you're a loyal fan of the Beatles.
I'm a fan. I met three. I never had the pleasure of meeting George, but Ringo and Keith Moon both came to the set. John Lennon and his son Julian came to the set of Happy Days. And I met Paul with my wife walking down Lexington Avenue in New York. And I bump into Paul McCartney, who said, "It's the Fonz."
And that's my point. You're a fan of them. What you're talking about, these items for the auction.
Yeah.
There are fans of Henry Winkler, a lot of them, and there are fans of the Fonz, which may even be separate, right?
Yeah, I think that they're intertwined. I think that people say to me, they literally say the sentence, "You'll always be the Fonz to me." And I say, I'm so happy that that's true. First of all, I loved playing him. I loved being with those people. I learned how to play softball for the first time in my life. Marion Ross, I just took her to lunch for her 93rd birthday. We had an Italian meal on Ventura Boulevard. I am thrilled. I love the Fonz. You know, in the beginning, I thought, "Oh, don't call me the Fonz. My name is Henry, and I don't want to be typecast." But you can't beat the system. And once I learned that, once I let go of that, I just embrace him and love him, and I'm grateful to him.
By the way, on that note, just bring me back.
Yeah.
When you auditioned for the role,
yes,
it just bring me back to that moment, that day. Did you nail it that time?
I would have to say at this moment, I think so. Because when I walked in, I was able in my professional life to do something I couldn't do in my life, which is really go with my instinct. I was always afraid as Henry in the world. But when I walked into that room with Gary Marshall and Tom Miller and Ed Milkis and the head of casting of Paramount, I changed my voice.
Right there.
And right then and there. And that, it was as if there was this cosmic key that stuck into my forehead that just opened my imagination. And I said anything that came to my mind, written or not.
And you did the traditional, you walked into the audition with a whole bunch of guys sitting in the room. By the way, was Mickey Dolenz of the Monkees in that room?
He was in the green room.
Yeah.
Where all the actors were sitting. Everybody that I had ever seen on television before I got to Hollywood was in that room.
So you said, "Oh my, I'm dead," but
I'm dead.
but something clicked, which goes.
And then when I went in that room, as I'm walking through the over the threshold of the door, I said, you got a choice. Go for the gold or go home.
And you went for the gold, which brings me back to the fans. Beatles fans, I remember those days as the throngs of kids were. You had the same thing with all of you guys when you show up.
I would not ever compare myself to them, because my dream, my unrequited dream, is to sing, but sing where I literally can take the audience on a journey, not sing in my shower where I watch the tile crack.
But I'm talking.
But so I would never compare myself. But when we went someplace as a group, Ron Howard, Don Most, Anson Williams, and me, 25,000 people would show up just to say hi. I mean, no concert, not a song, nothing. Just
how do you deal with that? What is that like? What does that do to the soul, to the ego?
At one time, Anson Williams whispered out of the side of his mouth to me, he said, "Do we deserve this?" And I said, "That's not the point. The point is we do what we do, and they're here. So if they're here, just say hi."
And that's what you did, and
that's what I do.
It's what you do. It brings, whether it's Henry or the Fonz, it brings pleasure to people, just like the Beatles bring pleasure to you.
But it's a two-way street. It's a yin and the yang.
Yeah.
Remember, even if I've heard exactly the same words of compliment from all these people, and I meet little Joan or Bob or Trey, and they say to me, I love watching you. You make me laugh. I've never heard it from these people. So it's like the first time.
And that does what to you? Is that a high?
It keeps me grounded. It gives me great gratitude. It makes me feel wonderful. Unless I'm running for a plane. And then I just wave. I gotta go.
But you were always keeping that person in mind. I know you for a long time now. You always are. You will stop for a fan quickly. You gotta go. You gotta go. But
you know why? If the fan doesn't watch, I don't get to be here with you. I don't get to write and have children enjoy the books. I don't get to be on television. When I was 27, I got the Fonz on my birthday. When I was 72, I got Gene Cousineau and Barry. Now, that you can't take lightly.
No, not at all. And you still keep your, it's funny. I have to tell you this. We don't live far from each other.
Right.
The post office. I was in the post office picking up some stuff, and he needed my ID. And it was recently, and I'm wearing a mask.
Right.
And when I went to the lady, she said, "Can I see your ID?" I did, and she said, and they did this all the time at the airport. "Do you mind picking up the mask?" And I went. She said, "The last person that did that was Henry Winkler." I said, "That sounds like him." You do that? I do that all the time. It's just.
Well, I want to tell you something.
Am I right?
I love our postal workers.
Yeah, they're terrific.
I love them. We send them lollipops. We send them donuts. I have to tell you, the mail lady.
You know what I'm talking about, too.
I do. I know exactly. She sits at the end. They are wonderful human beings.
And I'm telling you, as soon as I lift that mask up, she said, and she laughed, and she said, "Wow, the person has done that to me, Henry Winkler, and he makes me smile every time he does that." Two more questions. One, as we approach a new year, we're going to 2022.
Yeah.
What are you looking forward to? What are you hoping for?
Do you know what? I only hope for one. I hope for two things, three things. One, that this country really regains some sanity, that we start to respect the structure of what we have built, of the idea that we have built, because in the structure comes freedom. When that structure and of the country starts to fray, we will live in chaos. And then I think of my grandchildren. I want my grandchildren to live and meet their destiny, and all their friends and all the children that fan out from there. I want to be able to work and create until I can't, until I literally can't. And a fourth, I would like to fly fish more for trout.
Get those waders on. And
get those waders on.
Which state do you go to?
Oh my gosh. Well, I had the pleasure. My wonderful lawyer, Skip Brittenham III, is a master fly fisher person.
Uh-huh.
And he took me on a trip to Argentina, to the tip of Argentina. The fish were so big, I could have ridden them back to LA. But here, the Western states, Colorado, Idaho, Montana, Wyoming. Oh my gosh, it's just, first of all, this country is gorgeous. And second of all, it's like a washing machine for your brain to fish for trout.
And what is it about? That's my other question. What is it about fly fishing? I've been out on the deep sea fishing, and I'll tell you, you can get pretty seasick, but fly fishing.
I don't go deep sea fishing for that very reason. I get on the boat and I vomit before we ever leave the dock.
Thank you. That's exactly
that's not for me.
But it's peaceful to go in the
waters. My gosh. Can you see that?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
That's 8:30. That's 8:30 in Montana, getting off the river.
So you'll go. Wow.
Here I am.
Look at you. Look at you. So you'll go. You'll take a span of a week or whatever. You'll do. Oh
yeah.
Look how happy you are there with it.
I can't even tell you. Now you're in a beautiful place.
Uh-huh.
The sound of the water is the most pleasing sound to mankind. 80 decibels of water, running water. Oh my God.
You don't have to meditate. That is your meditation.
You can't concentrate on anything else except your fly. You have a quarter of a second to get the fish. Otherwise, they're gone.
And if you've never done it before,
you can learn in 30 minutes and you perfect it for the rest of your life.
That's really, that's saying something. And when did you find this sport?
1986. Skip Brittenham III took me and Stacy on the Smith River in Montana. And no pun intended, we were hooked.
And Stacy too?
Mm-hmm. She's a great fisher person.
And finally, Henry, you mentioned it. And I just want to touch it again, put a bullet point on it. Barry is coming back.
Yes, it is.
For season 3.
Yes.
But no date announced yet.
Not yet, no. But I would imagine it will be in the end of the first quarter of 22.
All right. Happy Days at Bonhams. That is going to be you'll be waiting for the guests to show up at your party. That is going to be.
It's so true.
That is going to be on December 8th.
Right?
December 8th. We'll put up the stuff for people to know where to come to and how to.
Thank you.
If they're in Los Angeles, certainly they can show up. It's on Sunset Boulevard in Hollywood.
Right.
I have a feeling you're right. A lot of people will want to take part of this online.
Yes.
That you've seen before, and it could be yours. And of course, the latest book, Alien Superstar #3, Hollywood versus the Galaxy.
Yeah.
But
You know what? It's a wonderful adventure, and hopefully it will make you laugh.
that's I think that's what we need now more than ever.
Yeah.
And you are always such a delight, such a pleasure to talk to.
Thank you. You
As I
too.
have, maybe I'll see you down at the post office,
I hope so.
which is very easy to do. Have a wonderful holiday season, a happy
too.
and healthy new year. Everything good for 2022.
Thank
And by the way, last time I saw you was with at the Emmy Awards, and who knows? I hope we get back to that situation again.
Oh, me too.
As well.
That was so exciting.
What did the Emmy mean to you?
You know what? It is a great feeling. I've been nominated so many times and not won, so I had no expectation.
Mhm.
They made me a tuxedo, which I will wear again.
Not in the auction.
It was thrilling. You know, I'm such a fan because we watch television. I just watched the Kevin Hart new series
Uh-huh.
and on Netflix, and it was terrific. So I get excited when I see people that I love watching, you know, and there they were when I walked up on stage to get my Emmy, the 2 stars of The Crown. And I started talking to them about how much we enjoy watching them. And they're looking at me, and then it hit me. I have to make a speech.
Did you have anything prepared that time?
I did. I had something prepared that I wrote 40 years ago. I said, kids, you can go to sleep now. Daddy won. Of course, now they're 40.
Congratulations on that and others to come. Henry Winkler, always a pleasure. I thank you so much.
What a pleasure. Thank you.
See you again soon.